viewers at home.
For the viewers at home, what do you do for a living? What's your name? Where'd you come from?
Okay, my name's Kevin Robinson. I'm director at 13 Media. We make media assets. So we do videos, we write copy, association then do things like podcast, various other bits and pieces, anything that's media. But underneath that is if I have an area of expertise, if I have such a thing, I'm a narratologist. I've for 20 years or so taught narratives and studied how stories work and things like that. So we take businesses, sometimes people, sometimes products, and using the right media assets, translate that story into a way that hopefully sells, promotes, cleans up the PR off sometimes as well. I'm a spin doctor, but I'm a nice one.
When all this kicked off, like the pandemic and that,
yeah,
did it affect you that much?
Yeah, it did. I mean, it affected everybody. I lost some business and got some business, I guess. Like a lot of people in, what we call the forgotten, with being a sole director and a solopreneur. That's the chair squeaking, by the way, not my bike. Although my bike does make that noise. But yeah, I mean, of course it did. It affected everybody, didn't it? I mean, everybody was hit in one way or another. I wasn't hit as bad as a lot of people, and I'm really conscious of that. And when people ask that question, I'm really conscious of moaning about it. I don't think I've got the right to. I was lucky, The clients I had at the time, in actual fact, the pandemic in one case was actually rather good for them in terms of what their product was. I know it sounds awful to say it that way, but you know what I mean. I don't mean that as badly as it sounded. So yeah, I mean, yes, of course I was. It doesn't give me the right to moan about it, I think. And I am, in a rare moment of seriousness of me, very, very grateful that I got through it as lucky as I did. People weren't so lucky as lucky. Some people weren't.
Did you find it that easy? Because obviously, with the amount of things that you can do, was it easier having the different revenue?
Yeah.
Like revenue streams kind of thing?
Yeah, the diversification helps. Yeah, definitely, because the video stopped. And the fact that the videos stopped, but the copy side increased, meant that we were lucky. There's somebody going to the toilet in the background, but that's fine. Egocentrics. But yeah, it did. The fact that we had a diverse product range and we weren't particularly focused on one market did help. And it did keep things going. Doesn't stop it affecting you, doesn't stop it affecting your business, but it was maybe a little easier to refocus where we were making money to some extent. But we had bad ones. We had ones where the revenue was next to zero.
I know exactly how you feel there.
I'm sure you do. Yeah.
No,
that's it.
It's
like, exactly. I can't complain about that period when you have a right to complain and I don't. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm saying? It's just, I don't think, and I get the argument that people have sometimes with this where they go, oh yeah, but it's relative to you. Yeah, it is, but when there's people sleeping in doorways, don't complain about having a bed. I'm not that.
That's it, when you look at it like that, it was, yeah, I have the right to complain about it, but I'm not gonna, because there's a lot worse out there.
Yeah, it is. And sure, of course, you can complain, you can keep on, you can say it's affected me and it's been, and I'm really, yes it is, but it's affected other people far more. It's affected other people to the points where they had to give up.
Oh yeah, without that, which is sad to see.
Of course it is. So, I was lucky. I'd rather look at it that way and say, I was lucky in what I don't believe in luck, but you know what I mean, it was, I'd rather be positive about it because that lets you appreciate other people have the right not to be. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it has been hard for some people. It has been difficult.
Oh, because doing the events and that,
Yeah.
It was that obviously went dead. Diary went dead. But then it was trying to find something to diversify too. That when everything does return, I don't let them down. You know what I mean? So I didn't want to start something up and then go,
Yeah, I thought about that.
you see, like you've seen me through the pandemic, see you later kind of thing. My event's back on now. I don't want to do that, and then it's introducing the revenue stream that's not going to be a temporary thing.
So what do you do then? Do you look at that and go, okay, you're supposed to be interviewing me, but I'm interested in that, so...
It's just a general conversation.
So do you look at that then and go, okay, well, do I now bring on something that is a revenue stream that I can hand off to somebody else to keep that revenue stream going for you, albeit in a lesser way, so that you can go back to your events? Or do you look for something, do you go back and go, okay, well, here's how much of my current scalability within the business is taken up by events, that leaves this much. So do you now go, I've got a gap, I'll fill that with this stuff so I can carry on? Or do you go, I'll fill all of it and then but fill it with things I can pass on to somebody else, or look to get an apprentice in to do, or whatever. I don't know.
So like before it all kicked off, literally before it all came on the news and that, and we heard it was in Wuhan and that sort of jazz, I'd been considering taking someone on, just like admin, just to take off the back end, so I could then focus on sales, because the main thing I want to do, I want to create a team, and I want a permanent team with me working, and it's not just I'm an event photographer, it's I own a media company. So it's having, I want to fill the whole thing, pass it off to people, but not like it's passing it off to the right people, if that makes sense. Like I don't want to have, like I get admin in to help me out on that side, and I want to grow the business and do the new ideas, but then having the team around me that have got the same mindset and same like mentality, then I don't want it to just be, this is a job.
But that's really difficult, isn't it? Because you find when you think about that, if you go, because I've got the same issue, the temptation, I think, for anybody who is the primary or the sole person in the business, is to see yourself as absolutely vital, and nobody does it like you, and it's everything. And it's probably not true, it's probably, I know there's certain things where it requires you to be there, but in actual fact it's the business that's requiring somebody to do that job that you've got the skills for, isn't it, rather than you're the only person in the world who can do that job. So when you start to talk about getting a team in around you, do you not find that causes a massive kind of existential crisis almost, where you sit going, have I not got a team because I'm completely incapable of trusting anybody to do the job?
It's not the whole like trust.
Is my own ego so large?
No, it's not the whole there is trust to it, but it's also, it's like I like a bit of banter, and I don't want someone in the company or in the team that's, they've got to have a serious element, but where it's a corporate life. Because that gets rid of the ethos.
That's another one as well, isn't it?
It's like, it's just like my morals and that, and it's just having, they can see the vision and they're excited to be on that journey, rather than seeing it as, I need a job.
I get that entirely.
And I want to include them in that journey, but then eliminate myself from roles.
Yes, that's what you need.
And that's what
I think we need, all of us need to be looking for ways to take ourselves out of the business and let it run itself. Because, and I think that's what I guess what I'm saying is, the point where you go, I'll let go of this particular section of the business to somebody else, or this particular skill set to somebody else, is a difficult decision, isn't it? It's a difficult thing to do, and partly, I was joking with this about our massive egos, but do you know what? In fairness, if there's one people in our industry, there's one failing we all tend to have, it isn't it?
Oh, without a doubt. But it's like having the whole, like when you're saying eliminating, like the roles in that, like the print management thing that I spoke to you about, it's being able to build that up and then go, well, I don't actually have to do that. It's not. It is quite a labour-intensive role. Yeah,
but that's easy. I bet I don't believe it. I bet that's much easier for you to let go of than a photo shoot.
Yeah. Oh yeah, without a doubt. But then when I do the events, I'm not doing the shooting.
You did it vicariously, though, aren't you, through the people that are there. You very carefully pick the team.
Oh yeah, very.
To mirror your techniques and your skills.
Yeah. But then I think that's also come from experience as well. Because I have picked ones in the past.
What I'm saying is we're all guilty.
Oh yeah, we
press us like I'm pushing you on this now. We all wriggle on that little hook.
Yeah.
Don't we? We don't like it. But
well, it's your baby, isn't it?
To some extent, yeah, it is. Of course it is. And it is, it's what you've worked on. It's what.
Yeah, and it's like.
Although I have to be honest and say, I don't think I know a lot of people invest in their businesses that way. They see it as their personal kind of. It's their baby. It's almost as if it's the thing they've got. I genuinely don't see the business that way. I see it as a means to an end. But I think it's more. I think in our industries in particular, it's not quite often. It's not so much the business; it's the output. It's so much of what we do relies on the clients seeing our output, and that's maybe a little bit where the ego comes in as well. Because the truth of the matter is, if we've done our job right. If you get on a bus, nobody gets off a bus when it arrives at its journey and goes, well driven mate, perfect steering, love it, couldn't have done that myself, and gets off. Whereas if we do a success, we drop our passengers off at the right place, our clients have to go, amazing bit of work mate, oh fantastic images, love what you did. It's very hard not to have an ego when that's the result of getting your job right.
Oh yeah, it is. I do struggle to get out of the room when I hear things like that.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's like hot.
Extra on the invoice.
Yeah, it's like, damn it, I didn't charge you enough.
Extra 20 quid for the invoice.
Yeah. But no, it is nice and that, but I don't like, because there's franchises out there,
yeah,
and I don't agree with their methods. It's down to the creative to do the creative work.
Yeah.
But then the processes that are in the background are very sort of when it comes to sales, they're very hard sale.
Yeah.
And it is pressurised, and I don't agree with that.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, what, you either want to spend the money, and if you don't, it's fine.
Yeah.
Not right.
I wonder how much difference that really makes though in the end. I think sometimes when you look at those type of things, like you get the high pressure sales, or the big flashy website that really sells that image, or the very up to date, it's got to be 6 months old, change the equipment, got to have the latest one. How much difference all that stuff really makes in the end to the process of giving the client what they want to make a sale. I mean, the truth of the matter is, if they use those high pressure techniques at an event, one of your competitors walks away having sold 3 pictures more than you did that the people really don't want, and then next year, so they're avoiding it like the plague because last year they sold them a picture they didn't want. In the long run, does it work? I'm not convinced it does. I'm reasonably sure that your way of doing it is better.
When we're at events, I encourage anyone that's attending to come up to us and give feedback and tell us what they want, but then not a lot of them, all the attendees, they don't know about it. They don't know that they can just approach us and ask. At the end of the day, we're only human, but they're not doing it because it's what they're used to, and they're used to the whole, they're just going to throw it down our throats sort of thing and try and hard sell.
Yeah. Well, it's my will, by the way. It's a good subject.
It's always the way.
But, live attitudes.
Yeah. But no, that's what it has been in the past and that, and then they come, sometimes for instance, we always get it where they come to us and they go, oh, he didn't get didn't capture my daughter in her routine, or didn't capture this movement, and it's like, okay, we'll tell him, but before the routine, obviously you're stood behind them. You're stood right behind the photographer because you've got the prime location and there's a viewing station sort of thing for you to look at it. Tap him on the shoulder and say, I've told my daughter to do a little wave to me.
Yeah.
Can you get some photos of her?
Yeah.
He'll turn around and go, yeah, of course I can.
Yeah. Yeah, client response. I mean, there is an amount of that. And again, that's a bit of a weird barrier sometimes. I think sometimes clients don't want to input, almost as if it would offend us if they did, whereas
Mm.
You know, I've never bothered by client input. And it's not that you know, you don't want the input from clients, you do, but I think you have to be strong enough to go, sometimes I'm the expert, leave this with me.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
But at the same time, if you don't get feedback, you don't get input, what are we doing? Why do we bother?
Mm. No, it's very true. Do you know the biggest bugbear? Like, it just made me think of it, but I was saying it yesterday to a lady that does dance. They go to an event or any sort of live event that their kids are attending,
Yeah.
and they're always using their phone. They're either filming it or taking photos of it. So yeah, that's fine. Obviously, I have no problem with it. But you're there to watch your child.
Yeah.
You're not there to. You're there to support your child, not film it.
Yeah.
That's why people like me and everyone else that does. Well, that's why we're employed and hired to go and do it, so they don't have to worry.
Yeah. But that happens. I get it with clients sometimes who, you know, people pay me, and I was joking about being one of the nice spin doctors, but actually that's part of what I do. You know, part of my job is to kind of make the story right for people. It's not, you know, it's not necessarily about changing the story. It's about presenting it in the right way for people. You know, build bridges in marketing. You don't sell anything, you only build a bridge. And you get there sometimes where I'll do that with somebody. I'll say, here's how you do it, and they go, no, we won't do it that way. And you think, what do you pay me for? Why did you ask?
Yeah.
You know? And it's the same, you know, with video, with photography, you know, and there are some people you meet and everybody knows better than you know, despite your 20 years of experience.
Yeah.
But overall, to be honest, I think it's quite rare that you get a genuine issue with clients.
What's your plans with this place? Because obviously you're going to take over, and
I genuinely think that the world has changed when it comes to accommodation for businesses. You know? We all know now, after the pandemic, it did change. It changed things in a very big way, right? The biggest thing it changed was what we all suddenly realised was actually the teams, you know, the people you have around you in the office, you don't need to watch them. You let them work from home, they produce the same level of, as it were, the same level of, and certainly it doesn't get any harder to control the output from the team working from home than it does working in the office, you know. So, you know, we're looking for this place and saying, oh, well, how do we? It's a bit, you know, unusual. It's all very kind of steampunk, cyberpunk sort of layout in here.
quirkiness.
There's through the back here. There's wrap and pack facilities for people who are, you know, are online sellers, and you know, from an eBay seller through to somebody who has their own e-commerce business through the back here. There's an electronics workshop through there. There's storage space all over the shop. Through the side here, there's a room that is absolutely brilliant that we're looking at converting into a Facebook Live kind of television studio almost, you know, the kind of cut down television studio for doing those with better quality sound, better quality audio, better video, you know, better lighting. But then there's some great big empty rooms, and one of the things that would be really nice to get going in here would be a mix of businesses, so that the new businesses, and there's going to be a lot of new businesses, so you know, we're heading into a time when there's redundancies happening. Unfortunately, people are going to lose jobs, and some of those people are going to go, I'll go into business, I'll start my own business. It would be nice if we can build this place into somewhere where you know, nobody's ever going to start a business with complete safety, but you know, where they can start a business with a little bit of a safety net around them of they can come and have a cup of coffee here and you know, walking past with Kevin with 30 years of sales experience, and you go, Kevin, I've got this customer who, and he'll go, that's how you solve that. You know, where somebody starting up as a graphic designer can come in here 2 days a week, but have their space, not go hot desking, come back to the same space every 2 days, you know. So rather than say, there's a room at the front here, a small meeting room at the front. So rather than have to rent that as an office for £250 a month, and you have to be there every day for the £250 a month, why can't you rent that for the month on Monday and Tuesday? Because that's what you need. Now, the rest of the time, the team doesn't need to be together. They can go, you know. So we're looking at this place as, first and foremost, if we can build it into an incubator hub for new business, I'd be really, really happy. So, you know, you and I both gone with the business community, and one of the things that really works with BuzzCom is the support. So we could do a similar thing here, but actually when they're in business, so that, you know, once a week they knew that the bookkeeper, accountant person was in the office, because they have it on Thursdays, and as part of their lease they have to give an hour a week to anybody who's got questions within the building or something. You know, it's all fluid. It's all about creating a space that works for businesses to be in, not a space that we move businesses into. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not. It should be theirs. It should be their place to be in. And I want this place that where we're sitting now should be buzzing.
Yeah, that.
You know, there should be. It used to be apparently in here that on a Friday evening, you know, 4 o'clock, people used to come down and sit and have a beer together. All the different businesses that were in here would come in here and you know, sit and have a beer and a cup of coffee, cup of tea, whatever they wanted, and just have the last hour on a Friday as a chat. Wouldn't it be great if that was going on?
Oh, that.
You know, and the recommendations that go with it. So yeah, it's all a bit quirky. It's all a bit steampunk, I guess. But it's nice. It's nice. And I want it to be back where it was, where it's a thriving hub. It was called the Hive for a reason. The Hive, where your business will start to buzz.
You heard it here first.
The sad thing is, I'm going, quite like that slogan.
Oh dear. No, it would be good though, like to have, especially with people starting out from fresh. Like, yeah, they've been doing their role for God knows how many years, and they know how to do their job, but they have no experience in running a business.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, like, I've always found, like, doing it solely it's lonely, and when you haven't got the different ideas to bounce off people that are outsiders, it's.
But you know, that's what people miss about the having the office thing, isn't it? You've got 6 people in an office, and they sit at the desks and they work, and you know, their interaction is maybe an hour a day between those 6 people. But that's the bit that they miss about working from home. It's not sitting at the desk doing the work. They don't really miss sitting in my chair. You know, what they miss is Steve from the next desk, but they have a bit of a laugh and a bit of a chat about the rugby at the weekend or whatever they chat about, you know.
Yeah.
So if you could build a place here where that happened, you're right, it stops the loneliness, doesn't it? It stops the isolation of being at home. You know, people look forward to coming here every Thursday or whatever their day is, to be in here. And the only thing that I guess that we ask in return is that people, and it's a month in, month out here. If you want to move out after in a month, that's great. You know, just give us a month's notice. You move out. There's no long contracts for the same reason. You know, that we wouldn't fix you to if you said, I need 3 days a month, 3 days a week for a month. If you then kept saying, actually, we only need 2, nobody's going to complain. Say, but I would rather have these offices filled with a variety of different businesses than empty. And if that means what we create here over the coming year, I guess, is the perfect place where if you were, you know, an electronics designer, you had an electronics way to do your electronics designing, and in here there was an accountant, there was a graphic artist, and somebody did websites, and a videographer, and a photographer, and you know, all the things that you would need going on.
Yeah.
Then suddenly this becomes more than an office space, doesn't it? It becomes a genuine bit higher business, you know, and that's what it should be about. And never stop believing.
Definitely agree with that.
Yeah. Does that answer your question then, or did it just make stuff up?
No, it did answer. It answered the question.
I was actually being quite genuine there for me.
No, it did answer the question.
Very rare. It's very rare that I've made a sensible comment. But it is. I'd love that. I mean, this could be.
Like, from looking at it from outside, you wouldn't think this isn't it.
No. It's the inside that's important. Isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the community that we're trying to build in here, because the great big faceless business centres really struggle to generate community. And one of the reasons for that, I think, is the size and the industrial kind of feel they have and all that sort of stuff. And I don't think you can be that anymore. I think people want it. I don't think people want it. What they want is what we've learned from the pandemic, and if anything good comes out of it, it's a change in the way we work. I had somebody was complaining to me actually that working from home. Somebody was telling me this. I heard it. Somebody was telling me directly, but they said the problem with working from home is suddenly the boss is actually watching what they do. So it was easier to Skype in the office. There was no weekly review. Have you gone this week? Best of intentions, supposed to be very supportive, and actually stop watching you. I never had to work in the past. I was getting paid for nothing.
Jesus.
Yeah. It's no wonder productivity's gone up. Everybody's actually got to do their job.
Because they're able to monitor everything.